Of the Hive, Chapter 7, Part 3. Twilight sat on her haunches as Rainbow left. She let out a shuddering deep sigh.
They're still my friends. Oh, thanks, Celestia.
Twilight gave herself some time to calm down, while a drone brought her lunch. She returned the love crystals, having fed far more than she needed.
I still have a few hours before dinner gets started, so I might as well visit one of the love collectors.
She sent out a general query.
Can any local collectors take a few minutes to talk?
Over 20 replies answered her, but one stood out above the rest.
I'm not busy, Twilight. You can visit me in my home if you wish.
The hive mind gave Twilight the identity of the speaker.
Rose? I never knew that you were a changeling.
The drone gave a weak laugh.
Well, if you had, I wouldn't be doing a very good job. Touché. Just please disguise yourself as the normal pony. Until equestrians are more welcoming of us, I'd rather not raise undue alarm.
Twilight scowled as she conjured up a green-furred Pegasus disguise.
That shouldn't be necessary, but I won't put one of my sisters in the spotlight. Of course.
Twilight found Rose's home easily enough. Rose ushered her inside as if she were an old friend. The house was much like any other in Ponyville.
Now I know why she used mirrored windows.
Rose dropped her disguise.
So, would you like some tea or snack?
Twilight was transfixed by Rose's appearance.
You just look like your pony self, only with...
The pseudo-Earth mare possessed the multitude of changing attributes, holes, wings, horn, and the eyes. What gave Twilight pause was that her mane, coat, and cutie mark remained.
Oh, did Mother not tell you?
Twilight followed Rose into the kitchen.
Tell me what? The collectors of our hive live most of our lives as a pony of our creation. As a result, our disguise ends up permanently marking our fur and hair. This has been my normal appearance for years now. Have you tried different disguises to keep that from happening?
Rose started boiling some water.
Oh, that becomes impossible for us collectors. During our training, we condition ourselves to be able to maintain our disguise around the clock for potentially years at a time. It reaches a point where my pony guise feels as natural to me as my true form. A side effect of that conditioning is that it's impossible for me to assume any other disguise, which makes escape quite difficult if undiscovered.
Twilight mulled over the information when a stallion's voice called out from the lounge.
Honey? I didn't know you were bringing guests.
Twilight frantically gestured for Rose to put her disguise back on, but Lucky trotted inside too quickly. Twilight was stunned to see that he was completely unfazed by Rose's appearance. The drone smiled and pecked him on the lips.
Well, it was a sort of last-minute thing. Twilight wanted to see how I did my second job.
Lucky turned to the disguised Proto-Queen.
Twilight? You don't mean the Twilight Sparkle, do you? It's okay, Twilight. Lucky's quite comfortable with our kind.
Trusting her sister, Twilight flared orange and revealed herself. Lucky whistled in surprise.
Well, I'll be a Hydra's uncle. Who would have thought the princess's star pupil had been a queen all along?
Twilight nervously tapped her hooves together and sunk in her seat.
Actually, I've only been a changeling for 2 weeks.
His face fell.
Oh? Well... So wait, that's what the princesses meant by you convalescing at the hive?
Twilight nodded weakly, making him glance between both mares.
This isn't the culmination of a 10-year plot to have a three-way with me, is it?
Everyone burst out laughing, and it took several minutes for Rose to catch her breath.
You scoundrel!
She protested.
Oh, come on, you can't tell me that she's really Twilight Sparkle.
He mocked playfully before looking back at Twilight.
You must be one of the other changelings in town.
She averted her gaze with a frown.
Afraid not.
His playful grin quickly fell into a frown.
Oh, I see. So do the princesses know? They do.
Twilight replied reassuringly.
Luna's going to reveal what happened to me tomorrow morning.
Lucky's tension eased up.
Well, if the princesses are okay with it, then I see no reason not to be.
The three of them settled down as Rose brought the teapot over. She was about to grab the cups when the front door slammed shut.
Mom, I'm home!
Rose gave Twilight a reassuring look before yelling out.
We're in the kitchen, Scootaloo!
Twilight watched the familiar orange filly race over and happily tackle Rose.
You gotta hear what...
She stopped talking as soon as she noticed Twilight in the room and stared at her for several seconds as her brain froze. Twilight waved a whole-riddled hoof at the filly.
Hello, Scootaloo.
The filly's face scrunched.
Wait a second, you've been a changeling all this time?
She turned to Rose.
I thought you already told me about all the local changelings from your hive. Oh, I did, Gumdrop.
Rose said while tousling the filly's mane.
Twilight just became a changeling 2 weeks ago.
Scootaloo studied Twilight.
The princesses couldn't have been very happy about that.
Twilight was too distracted by the filly still cuddling with her undisguised mother.
They weren't, but we'll get over it. I didn't know non-royals could have foals.
Rose lovingly squeezed Scootaloo.
We can't. Lucky and I adopted my little gumdrop here last year.
Scootaloo nuzzled her adopted mother.
I've got the coolest mom ever. Of course, I'm just glad I have parents.
Twilight felt a surge of hope as Lucky held his wife's hoof in his own with a caring smile on his lips.
So it really is possible. My Hive and Equestria might be able to be not just allies, but close friends. If a filly and stallion can love a changeling, any pony can. Thank you for having me over for tea, Rose. This has been most enlightening, but I must say I'm surprised. Scootaloo, isn't it hard to not tell any pony that you have a changeling mother?
The orange filly's ears flattened.
Sometimes. I find it easier if I just don't bring her up, but I'm glad that she trusted me with her secrets, and I'll keep it forever.
Rose stroked her adopted daughter's mane.
Oh, you're a wonderful little filly, Scoots. Why don't you go ahead and grab your spare Crusader cape?
She said with a knowing grin.
I know that's why you came home so early.
Scootaloo's cheeks flushed.
I don't go through that many.
Rose raised an amused eyebrow.
Oh, sure you don't. I left your cape on the bed. Try not to get so much tree sap on it this time. No promises.
The filly replied teasingly as she nuzzled her mother before bolting for her room. Lucky chuckled and checked the clock.
I better get down to the shop. The guys will give me grief if I make them wait any longer.
He kissed her before leaving. Rose was practically glowing from his affection. Effects Twilight noticed quickly, but she didn't speak of it until Lucky left.
You're really lucky to have such a great family. Oh, thank you, Twilight. I'm just so glad that Mother allowed me to be a collector. Stripped gear will always be in my heart along with my brothers and sisters, but my home is here with my second family. I risked a lot with Scootaloo.
She shed a few tears of joy.
And she's proven herself to be a wonderfully loving and understanding child. I can't express how guilty I feel about hiding my true self from her. But she hasn't told a soul.
Twilight sipped from her tea.
Kids aren't known for their discretion. That's why so many don't adopt, right?
Rose nodded while staring at her reflection in the still liquid.
Yes, adoption is the only way we drones can have children, and not every collector has been lucky as I have. I can't tell you how much I worry that it might slip one day. I am ashamed to admit that the first few months after I revealed my true self to her, I was terrified that she might use it as blackmail if I didn't let her have her way. Over half of our collectors are too scared to reveal themselves to their partner, let alone a child.
Twilight reached over to hold her sister's hoof.
Scootaloo seems to be happy just having a mother after all. I don't think she'd ever do that.
Rose jittered with her teacup.
I know, she's such a great little filly. Gets into trouble and comes home with bruises and sores from crusading all day. But I wouldn't change a thing about her. Even with her dedication to keeping my secret, that fear is always in the back of my mind. We're hidden in the shadows for so long, it's difficult to be so open with non-changelings.
Twilight got up and gave Rose a sisterly hug.
I want you to know that I'm going to fix that. I don't want us to have to hide what we are from equestrians anymore. Oh, if any pony can do that, it'll be you, sis.
Rose felt Twilight's sincerity over the link and returned the hug.
I'm so glad that you're one of us now, Twilight. Yeah, me too.
I still find it amusing of how, since this story was made back then, and we already know who Scootaloo's parents are now, shit man, we're already on another generation. We know a lot more than we did back then. Anywho, let's get on to our legendary donators. Zar630, Peter Coulthard, J Tinman, Darkside, Only One Thing, Dash of Evergreen, Taco Cat 598, Maverick, Iron Sky, Badass Waffle, and many more fantastic people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.